Okay, I was not planning on doing this video, but I have to do a part 2 for using Finnish Motti tactics against an enemy column. There's one person over on BitChute who had a freaking cow. Their panties got in a bunch because I didn't give a historically accurate explanation of how the Motti tactics were used by the Finnish military. The person kind of missed the whole point that I was explaining how to take that type of tactic, adapt it, and use it for a guerrilla force in our current day and age. Now, over on YouTube, I had another person who watched a video and they asked the question of, well, how do you counter these tactics if you're the person being hit? They especially wanted to know, well, how did the Russians counter it or the Soviets counter it? And I told them that the Soviets were so poorly led, about all they did is died. Now, when the Finns used Motti tactics, it was essentially hit and run. They suppressed the enemy element, assaulted into it, and they hit something valuable in here. Now, when they were in there, it could be hitting a command element that was identified. It could be hitting trucks or wagons that were carrying munitions. Another major target they used to hit was the field kitchens, the field kitchen trailers. They would destroy those because if they destroyed those, they destroyed the means of the Soviet troops to be able to supply hot food to their troops quickly. Which means more cold weather casualties, more people dying of hypothermia. Now, in our situation here, we have a platoon-sized element here, okay? We're hitting a company that's moving through the woods. They're moving in a single column, one platoon after another to conceal their numbers. They're just traveling on the one route. Our eyes on told us that, hey, they're coming into the area, so we moved forward. We have a 3-squad platoon that we're currently running with a team of engineers with. So we have 2 squads that are equipped with ARs and AKs, and these can be civilian models, and we have 1 main battle rifle squad which is equipped with 30 caliber rifles, such as PTR 91s, the G3 clones. Maybe they have civilian versions of the FAL. Maybe they have M14s. Maybe someone has an M1 Garand, whatever. It's higher caliber weapons, which are meant to give us a little bit longer range hit, a little bit better penetration, so we're going to use them as our primary support by fire. In our AR squads, we have at least 1 squad automatic weapon in each. If we have 2, well, we're going to detach 1 squad automatic weapon from each of these squads and then attach them to that MBR squad up here. So we got MBR up here, AR, and AR. We've detached a saw from here, up to these guys for additional firepower. We'll say this MBR squad has 2 general purpose machine guns. Exact type, doesn't matter. These are going to be weapons we captured from the enemy, so whatever the hell they had. It could be a 240, could be an M60, could be an MG3, could be a PKM, it could be whatever. Remember, every general purpose machine gun requires 2 personnel to carry it. Squad automatic weapon is an individual weapon. Our 2 assault squads are essentially equipped to be a bit lighter. That's why they have ARs and AKs. MBR squad, primary support by fire for the platoon. They're the ones that we gave those captured general purpose machine guns to. These guys up here are going to stretch themselves out a longer distance than these guys down here. they are going to be tasked with trying to pin down the bulk of this company. Now, we've identified a primary target inside this company coming up. Let's say we identified the heavy weapons section. This company is moving up with mortars, and these mortars are located right behind the lead platoon. So that's going to be our primary target. So we got mortars that are going to be in there. When those mortars come online with our assault element, that's when the command's going to go out, whatever the signal is, that these guys are going to open fire. Our assault element is going to be at least one squad. Maybe they got a few detached from up in here, maybe a fire team, who knows. But these guys are going to be a support, this squad's going to be a support by fire up here, try to keep these guys pinned down. These guys are support by fire up here. They're going to try keeping these guys pinned down as much as possible. I'm sure someone is screaming about, what about flankers? Where's your security? Where's your security? Well, what these guys could do is when they're getting set up in here, those engineers, that team of engineers, they went out up in here. Maybe they put in some tripwires connected to hand grenades or claymore mines to, at a minimum, give them a warning when the guys back here decide to try to flank. And then we'll do whatever we decide needs to be done, break contact, or whatever the battle drill is going to be. These guys assault in. Their primary target is those mortars. They're going in, taking them out. Maybe they're going to steal them. Maybe they're going to destroy them. How are you going to destroy them? Well, toss some C4 inside, stick the tube straight down into the ground so that C4 will be contained inside the tube and potentially damage the tube. How much you got to put in there? I would say a couple blocks. It depends on the size of the tube. Is it a 60, an 81, or a 120? So these guys come in, like I said, attack their target in here, consolidate. Bunch of them are looking down this direction. Bunch of them are looking down this direction. The engineer squad goes in with them, or engineer team, to do what needs to be done. It could be they're destroying the mortars, the actual rounds themselves, the tubes, whatever it is. Now, how do these guys counter it? What we got going on right now is essentially a hit and run. If we're able to start wiping them out, we're going to do that. This type of operation is meant to take advantage of terror, confusion, and panic. These guys up here are going to be putting in large volume of accurate fire. The machine guns are going to be going in nice long strips, say 12 to 20 rounds at a time, depending on groups, individuals. The guys with the rifles are picking off troops as accurately as they can identify them. Same with these guys up here. These guys are coming in close and personal, taking out everyone in here and the ones that are on the tail ends here. Most of the fire, though, people are going to associate or automatically zone in on where the fire is coming from the most. So if they hear mortar fire coming from here, mortar fire coming from here, they're going to pay less attention to these guys, at least until they're literally right there in their face. The people inside here need to realize they probably have more personnel than the ambush that's employing these tactics against them. So whoever is closest, officer, non-commissioned officer, hell, you know, a higher ranking, lower enlisted who at least has a decent head on their shoulders, needs to assault through to try to break this up in here to link up the two elements. You get the two elements linked up, then you can continue to go through and do your react to an ambush contact drill. So most of our people are caught back here in this scenario. We have one platoon up here. We're hitting just behind them. So we got 2 to 3 platoons back here, depending on the size of the company. Back here. Someone back here needs to start grabbing as many personnel as possible. And it doesn't matter if they're in their platoon, a different platoon, their squad, who the hell they are. Could be a frickin' supply clerk that's along for the jog. Take 2 out of every 3 personnel. So you have one person who's going to continue providing suppressing fire over here. You're going to have 2 people that are going to link up, consolidate with that NCO, that officer, and then they are going to come in the line here, and they are going to push through and try to take out these attackers. It's going to be close quarters combat. You're going to be beating each other with rifle butts, shooting at each other at point blank range. You know, if someone tries surrendering, well, guess what? You know, maybe you didn't see their hands go up in time and the person gets a shot in the face. Okay? They bust through. Hopefully down here, the rearmost squad is trying to at least keep these guys occupied in here. Maybe they can start assaulting in also. And then they meet somewhere up in here. Once this assault element is eliminated, you got a nice open area here potentially. You can then take your force here, push in, split going that way, split going that way, and hit these support by fire squads from the rear. Take them out. Maybe they're going to start running. They see that people are starting assaulting in. They decide that bugging out is their best bet. So then these guys will start coming off the line and they're going to start running. Well, guess what? Those guys, when they start getting up, they start running, they become easier targets for them. That's a way you can break this. Another way is your react to a near ambush. Hand grenades, assault in. Now back to the ambushers. Remember your priority targets for during an ambush. You want to take out the ones that have the mass casualty producing weapon systems. Those machine guns, those automatic rifles, the squad automatic weapons, someone with a grenade launcher, anyone with a radio, and anyone who happens to be reaching for that radio. If there's someone standing next to a person with a man-pack radio, and how do you know they have a man-pack radio? Look for the antenna. Person is always standing by that radio. Take that person out, they're probably an officer. Or they're at least a non-commissioned officer in charge of a squad. They're a leader. Take them out. They should be part of your first ones to hit the ground. Well, who should take them out? That's where it comes into your individual sectors of fire for each person in the ambush. You assign them their cone of you cover from this tree to this tree, and the next person next to you is covering from that tree to that tree. You interlock. You're concentrating on your individual little kill zone, and then you go through on your priority targets. You see someone with a radio in there, that's the first person you shoot. Before you shoot the person with the grenade launcher, then you start shooting the individual rifleman. But if you get a chance, you can pick someone off quickly. You know, you got that split second, even if it's a rifleman. Maybe you'll take that person after your initial shots. This type of tactic is fast, it is brutal, it's designed to cause panic on the person in the ambush zone. Once the ambusher accomplishes their mission, what they set out to do, like take out that mortar squad and destroy those mortars, they break contact, they get out of there. You're probably not going to break contact by yelling out fall back, break contact, okay? You could try a whistle, but even a whistle is going to be hard to hear over machine gun fire, over weapons fire, over hand grenades going off. A really good thing that you can use during this to signal when to break contact, smoke grenades. So then whoever is in charge, when the ambushers have met their conditions down in here, let's say they pop a yellow smoke grenade or a red smoke grenade over here, and we see the smoke going up. Maybe they pop another one over here. We got the red smoke going up. That's a signal to these guys that, hey, they're pulling back. Give them 30 seconds or whatever you've determined is the best amount of time in your practices. And then these elements start falling back also. You start breaking contact. You could melt away like the Viet Cong did. I've mentioned this in the past. Or you could do the standard U.S. military drill for breaking contact, popping high concentration smoke, white smoke as concealment, and then you fall back. Just disappear. Remember, bounding as you are falling back, you have an element that is in position covering your rear, while the other element falls back behind them a certain distance. They set up into position. The element that was the protection for the fallback force, they then start falling back and you leapfrog going back until you reach back to your rally point, gather up your equipment that you left behind there, the security you left with that equipment, and then you clear out of that area according to your battle drills. Hopefully this gives you a little bit more of an idea on this and how this type of tactic, the Motti tactic, chopping your enemy element into sections and then dealing with each section according to what the stated goals are for that mission, whether it's destroying equipment or destroying troops. Hopefully this gets you an idea on how something like this can work. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot Militia movements, always remember, essayons.